is so cool. Hello and welcome to another Mr. Beats Bike video, and this one's a little bit different insofar as we're looking at a Sony T9mer. Now, you heard me right, it is a T9, not a C9, and as you can see, it looks more like a C5 than a C9. This machine's a multi-standard Betamax from 1979, and it features playback and recording using the PAL, CCAM and NTSC formats. It's got Beta 2, Beta 3 recording, Beta 1 playback as well, auto select, and then under here, as opposed to having the alarm on off or still picture, search picture switch, we've got Beta 2 and Beta 3 selection. You've also got a tape, TV VCR switch, but they call it TV tape there. The clock itself is very basic, and I think they've sort of played it down a bit. The C5, C9 obviously had clear plastic all around here, but the timer is very, very basic. So basically you set your time, you want to start recording, and then you set the length. So this is going back to the original Betamaxes and how they were set up to record. Really not great. It's a terrible way to record. And then tuning settings, the different bands, and obviously test signal, whatever. Then around the back we've got the usual video in out and audio in out, but we also have a multi-socket which has all sorts of video in out and I believe data as well, but that's something I'll investigate in a future video, to be honest. But the other big thing is power. Now this will run from 110 volts up to 240 volts, and yet there's no voltage selector, which to me, and should say to you, this has a switch mode power supply. So, yeah, quite a different machine. Really very, very lovely. I mean, the effect of the front panels and down the side here got sort of like this metal effect, which is really great. I just love the look of it. And yeah, so this machine has come from Kevin, thank you very much. Went down to visit him. It's a 200-mile trip down, so 400 miles round trip, odd, give or take. And lovely guy, thank you very much. Thank you very much for donating this and some other bits and pieces as well. We've got an NEC machine as well, which does share quite a bit in common with this in many ways, especially with the switch mode power supply, and that'll be in a future video. But yeah, so I actually, before I powered this up, because it has a switch mode power supply and because of the mains capacitors, I actually changed those capacitors first before I recorded this segment. So let's cut to that and crack on. So let's get this power supply out. So interested to see what the screws are actually like. I'm guessing they're going to be very similar to a C7, but possibly a C5. So these are the long screws. Yeah, long screw. Long screw. What are the front two? Short, so C5. And C7. Yeah. So these are actually the longer C7 screws. So I wonder if this would work with the AG7 tape changer. That might be quite fun to try. So I do have one. Whether I'll do that in this video, I don't know. I'm going to be keeping this machine, like I said, so I shall have plenty of opportunity to have a play with it. And can I get this off without... Yes. Thought I could. So there it is. Wow. The power supply is actually very different. Gosh, it's completely different. Wow. I don't even know where to start with that. So I've got some extra signal processing there. I'm interested to see. I'm just going to take this top off here and see what the buttons are actually like, because they do work. Oh, there's probably more to it than that. Okay. Oh, maybe not. Oh, maybe. It's quite different. And the other thing, while I'm in here, I'm going to check if there's a backup battery. So just take, don't have to take the screw out altogether. There we go. Front cover off. Yeah, let's just check if there's a battery in here, because the batteries cause no end of damage. I'm guessing probably not. There is actually an earthing strap there, and you can see that the clock module is much smaller. More than likely, that's just down to the mere fact that the power supply is so much larger. So there's the clock, very different from a C7 as a comparison. There's a difference, very different. I mean, the timer is very, very simple, to the point where it's almost useless. But yeah, interesting. So how do you get this off? Okay, so I'll take the screw out here. Let's have a look at this clock assembly. Oh, there's another screw there. Why didn't I see that? So there's no battery, which is great news, actually. I'm really pleased with that. Because, like I say, they cause no end of trouble. They, at this sort of age, they're leaking like anything and causing all sorts of problems. So let's make sure that goes back down there. Very nervous about doing this. Gosh, what am I getting wrong? Oh, there we go. So it's the same type of button. But they're fine. They're working well, so leave well alone. I'm intrigued to see what's inside the actual power supply itself, because this is looking more and more like an AC type beta setup. Almost like they've got some ideas from the NEC decks, maybe. So there we go. The differences between the two clocks. Quite striking difference. But like I said, I do wonder if there's a battery in here. So let's get this out. I can see what I need to do now. I need to pull that out. So that's the mains feed from the on-off switch down here for the mains. So it is just 3 screws holding this in by the looks. Whether I need to take off anything up here, I don't know. I don't think so. Just lifts out. Do these connectors. Terrible way to remove connectors, but it works. Looks as if this board is going to come with it. Screw there just to undo the grounding strap cable. I'm actually tempted just to take the board out. I'll just leave it connected. Yeah, can do that. Super. So one power supply. So there it is. Something that is completely different. And I'm wondering what the capacitor situation is going to be with this. So let's get this apart. 12 volt adjust. It's a lovely power supply. It really is amazing. Right, so it looks like I need to take these out as well. I've just realised when I took the front off, I forgot to take the slow control variable resistor off the front there, which means that has launched into the ether. Just like, honestly. So yeah, there's the power supply out. So take the top off and the screws all around the side. And there it is in all its glory. So, does it have the infamous 4.7 microfarad capacitors? This is very different. So we've got 2 transistors there, 4.7, there they are. there's one. And then, yeah, so the two caps we're interested in are here and here. So I now have to take this all apart. See how bad this will be. I'm hoping it won't be too bad, so yeah, so there's a captive screw there. Not a captive screw, it's threaded. It's threaded in the actual heatsink itself. Also, it's very neat. Amazing power supply. I just can't get over this. Just how different it is. I just would have thought it's the same as a C7. But this is really amazingly good. All these screws are the same length, so I didn't actually think about that. In my excitement, I hadn't thought about the length of the screws. They're different, but they won't be. And they're not, so that's good. And we've got another heatsink there. Just be a bit careful of the pads. Looks like, maybe not. Should come off with the pads and all. Maybe I'm better taking that right out, I think. Interesting that there's a double layer on that one. Obviously you don't want them going to ground. So next thing is to get these two caps out and see what they're like. Interesting that they've put sort of tape around the back of a couple of them, sort of as extra insurance against shorts, I guess. But that's very strange, very interesting. What a power supply. That's really cool. So I've taken those out. They are 4.7 at 350 volts. They're actually not terribly bad. Both have leaked. Don't know if you can see this, but there's leakage in this corner here, and same here. Interesting that one has done it on the positive side and one's done it on the negative side, but they are starting to break down, so that's great. With these, what I tend to find is, you've probably seen it on previous videos as well, they will continue to leak, the power supply will be fine, and they only really cause problems once the electrolyte actually goes between both pins, so the whole bottom is covered in just residue leakage from the actual capacitor. So yeah, it's a fairly resilient circuit, but let's get these changed. They're obviously on the way out, so yeah, I'll get that done now. So new caps are in and put in the right way, it's always good. And I can see what's going on with these two transistors now. Why there's a double layer insulator, and there's some copper actually behind here as an extra sort of source of heat dissipation. So interesting way to do it, but yeah, that's what's going on there. And then this is actually oh, where does it go? There. So yeah, it's grounded there. So yeah, interesting how they've done that. But yeah, hopefully that's made this reliable. I've sort of just quickly checked the rest of the caps, and it all seemed great. And I have to say, I mean, I changed those two, but they probably would have gone on for a while before they actually caused any problems. But let's do them. I don't want to change these. because they can be quite difficult to get hold of. We'll have a look actually and just see how difficult it is to get a 2SC2335. Yeah, cool. So let's put it back together, and I need to make sure that I get this over that chip. That's up there. Super. So, super. Ah dear. Croaky. Slide that back in. And then put these screws back in. Connector in there. Oh, nearly forgot. Didn't put the power supply screws back in, so let's do those. Make sure that grounding screw is grounding tag is accessible, and then put the screw in top here. Magic, we are good to go. So I have found the cover for that. I can't believe I did that. Every time I do a C7 or something similar with that control, I always miss to take that off, and then it flies off into oblivion, and I spend the next 5 days looking for it. It's just like, oh, my goodness. So yeah, I think what I'll do now is get that front cover back on. I will give it a clean. It's actually pretty good. It's a very tidy machine. It's really lovely. I really have to just be in awe that machine that dating from 1979 is just so good. I mean, I'm just cleaning this actually with just the cotton wool bud and nothing else, because it just doesn't need it. I'll clean these as well, what it's worth. But there's just no dust. So yeah, so I'll get the front cover put back on, and we'll give it a test. It's all back together. I did actually manage to foul up that little shield that goes down the buttons here, so I just had to sort that out and put it back in properly. What else did I do? Oh, and I also missed the ground strap that went to the screw behind here, so put that on. I just thought about it as soon as I put the front on. I thought, oh no, I forgot that. So this is the most popular part of my videos. What the fuse is in the plug. And it's a 13 amp. What a surprise. So I'm going to leave that in there for now. I will change the plug so it has the correct modern standard shrouded pin plug on there. Don't have any young kids in the house anymore, but still, you know, you don't mess about this stuff, do you? You never know. And yeah. So let's give it a test. So a drink of water later, and let's have a look at it. So the belts in this are actually, well, they seem really, really good, and all the tyres seem good as well. And yeah, it's a really nice machine, to be fair. I'm really just so over the moon to have such a nice example of a T9 as well. It's a machine that I've been sort of looking at getting for quite a long time, and they are really rare, but just such great fun. So yeah, let's just have a quick look at the actual deck itself, and there's things that you'll definitely recognize as being a C5 or a C7, but there's a little surprise in there as well. So as you can see, it has wear, but really it's very low hours. The drum looks pretty good. There is wear there, and I will sort that out. I probably won't show that on a video, on this video, because I've shown it so many times before, but I will resurface that upper drum just to make sure that wind and rewind are nice and smooth. And the big thing is the heads. And can you see there? This is actually a 4-head machine. And I'm not sure what that means. I don't know quite what's being achieved here. I'd like to say it's perfect still, but I don't think it will be. I think it's something to do with the multi-format. You can see there's a bit of muck on the disc there. That's fine. And again, I'll give that a clean, but I won't show that on this video. Because all the servicing is really the same as what I've shown before on the like the C7 and C5 videos that I've done. So yeah, but wow, how cool is that? For 1979, to have this level of consumer electronics with this power supply as well, this is amazing. The quality of this, not putting in a battery as well, that's very sort of forward thinking really in many ways, just because yeah, they cause so many problems. It's like it's built to last, like really, really last, and have a hard life as well. So yeah, I think the next thing is to actually put a tape in. And give it a try. So now I'm playing a tape, and this is the tape that was actually in the machine. And you can see there the PAL light is on. And yeah, it's just such a lovely machine. The front of this is just so striking. And pull down the flap. Got the NTSC record mode, so beta 2, beta 3, it'll play back beta 1 as well, and remote socket there. And this is actually metal effect all the way round, so on the top cover as well, all around the side is sort of this sort of, you've got the same as like the C5, and then this metal effect, and it's really beautiful. It's really nice. So you've got TV video switch there, or TV tape as it said there, but yeah, early days, 1979 and all that. So there it is working. And like I say, this is the tape that came in the machine, so it's not great. There's a bit of colour flare. It's actually quite rich. But it's great. So let's try still. Oh yeah, of course I've got that. Huh, interesting. And that relay click there. So that's. So I do wonder if there's heads. The forehead is actually. It's not still. It must be to do with the different formats and how they dealt with those at that time. Now, I do have the manual, and I did go through it, but the manual is actually very basic. But I do think, I wonder if the head chips sort of switched, depending on whether it's one format or another format. I mean, I don't know. But yeah, let's try an NTSC tape. So, playing back a Beta 2 NTSC tape, and I'm getting this. And that's looking very much like a head clog. Yeah, interesting. It's quite odd how it's doing that. I would guess it probably is one of the other sets of heads that's causing that. But yeah, I mean, if you have experience with these machines, let me know in the comments. What do you think? But I won't be investigating this in this video. I don't think. But yeah, obviously there is a problem with the NTSC playback, so that's something to investigate, and I will show it in another video. I mean, this one is just evaluating the machine and just looking at the wonder of what the SL-T9 actually is. So yeah, I do really think that the heads are set, the different formats. There's still, I do wonder if there is actually a head issue with it. But yeah, interesting stuff. So playing back on PAL, and this is a tape I recorded, and that's quite green. Yeah, well, I think we do have slight colour issues there. Maybe. I mean, I've never found a more standard machine, Betamax anyway, that doesn't give some sort of strange results in still. But tracking-wise, I mean, the heads are really good. So that's far left, far right, back in the middle. So not bad at all. But yeah, just still puzzled by the NTSC playback. It's just really poor. So yes, interesting. So I've cleaned the heads, and they were very, very mucky indeed. And I still have the same issue on NTSC. But I do think, looking at the scrolling noise on the screen, that I've got a capstan issue, and that's no real surprise, to be honest, on these machines. As you know, with C5s and C7s, if you watch my previous videos or you know these machines, they are infamous for capacitor issues, those Sanyo glue capacitors. So I'm going to cover that in another video. But as for this one, I'm going to leave it there. And thank you very much for watching. And please like and subscribe as well. It really does mean so much to me. And I will see you in another video. Bye for now.